Howdy, folks, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the review portion where we're going to be talking about a fan-requested review. I'm Uncle Bill.
And I am the creepy Kentuckian, if you will.
And we are going to be reviewing a film that I had never heard of and probably never would have heard of had it not been for this request. So that's why I'm always happy to get these requests. This is The Act of Killing, which is a 2012 documentary.
It was Oscar nominated too, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know how many it won, but I know it was nominated for at least a couple of Oscars, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look. I know it was nominated, but I don't know if it won any.
Yeah.
But the topic of this movie, and that's the interesting thing too, and I didn't really look into it very much, but so there was in the 60s in Indonesia, there were kill squads that killed what? Did they say it was possibly up to 1 million people? Communists is what they referred to these people as.
Right.
By this, rogue government militia or whatever. And there's like, have you heard anything about this before, this movie, about this happening?
No, man. That's the thing. I hadn't heard anything about any of this.
Yeah, because it was in the 60s. I mean, it's a while ago, but it's still like, it's not really in a lot of history books. I don't remember hearing about it. And if you look online, it's like the U.S. almost gave them a pass on it. That they didn't really get involved with it. It's almost like they supported the death squad. But anyway, this documentary, it was originally just going to be about the atrocities and everything in Indonesia. But they found that it was difficult because those people, that militia and everything is still running the country over there. So they're still in charge. It's very much like, World War II. If Hitler just continued his reign and, his kids or whoever else continued his, craziness for decades and decades later. It's very similar to that. So they weren't getting a whole lot of support. So what they decided to do, I guess a big thing in Indonesia is they're fans of American movies. Like they love gangster movies, crime movies, and stuff like that. So the director, I think his name was Joshua Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
He decided to, and at this point in time, this was shot from 2005 to 2011. The two big guys, I guess the biggest guys, Anwar Congo, and they interview him and his other buddy from the Death Squad, who reenact scenes that really happened throughout this movie in hopes to make a theatrical movie on this shit.
You know what it reminded me of? Is you know that book like OJ did, What If I Did It? Yeah. It's like it's like a film version of that, but with like people that committed genocide. So they gave them like options of like how they wanted to recreate these scenes, like what kind of what would you call it, like genre of film that they would want to do to recreate these scenes. And some people chose like gangster films, and some people chose like fucking one guy chose a musical or some like crazy shit.
Yeah.
It was like one of the most surreal things you'll ever see is that guy like sitting there in a fucking pink outfit.
That big fish thing that was out there. What the hell was that?
But it's just so crazy because like they were more than willing to talk about killing these people and what they did to kill them, like happily to talk about it, like very jovially, except for one guy that I can remember, but very jovially talking about like killing people in a lot of these scenes. And like the one guy, I can't remember his name. I can't remember which one that was. It was showing like how he used it, like kind of like a garrote to like strangle people without blood and all that.
Anwar Congo and
Yeah.
Herman Koto or Koto.
Yeah.
Those were the two big guys, and reenacted the killing of babies, strangulation with wire.
That's the one. Yeah, I'm talking about. Yeah.
Lots of stuff. And it's crazy. Like, what I think is more interesting than anything is like, this isn't referenced hardly. Nobody talks about this in the U.S.
I
media or
don't.
anything. Like, I wonder why that is.
Well, nobody talks about this film. Like, I don't understand that really. Like, because I know it had to be big at the time because I was looking this up and looking it up for talking about the awards we were talking about. So critically, it was on like everybody's top 10 list at the time that it came out in 2012, 13.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Documentary Feature, but didn't win. It won Best Documentary for the British Academy Film Awards, and like had a European Film Award, Asian Film Award, like all kinds of awards. But you just never hear anybody reference this movie. At least I don't.
No.
Like, I guess it's out there in the ether somewhere, but you would think something this crazy and this kind of like telling would be more popular, more out there, but it's not.
Another interesting aspect too, just to tell you how corrupt that government still is. The co-director, as well as 48 other members of the film's crew in 27 different positions, are credited as anonymous because they fear revenge from the Death Squad killers. The 41-year-old Indonesian who shared directing credit with Joshua Oppenheimer and Christine Sin could only wonder, how could these people tell horrible stories so lightly and so proudly? You just want to challenge them right away, but you have to keep telling yourself to be patient and let them tell the story the way they like, because then we can learn something about the whole system, their whole system of destruction.
Yeah, I mean, it's very weird because like you are watching people reenact things, so it's kind of like you got a distance from it because it's almost like a film. But then when you sit back and think about this, all this stuff really happened. They really did these things. And when you think about that for more than half a second, it'll make your brain explode. Like the kind of shit that these people did and the fact that they just are thrilled to talk about it in the way that they do.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting movie. Now, this was the director's cut that we watched. So it was 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Yeah.
It was entirely too damn long. So I would have much rather seen, the theatrical cut of the movie. Now it's interesting, and I mean, it's kind of fascinating, really, how these guys are kind of still like the Congo guy admitted to killing at least 1,000 people himself.
Yeah.
And has zero remorse at all. He still laughs about it and everything else. So which I think he has since passed away since then, and I'm sure he's in hell.
Yeah,
100%. But
he's not doing well, I'm sure.
But yeah, I mean, this is a fascinating documentary for sure, and this one as well is also on YouTube.
Yeah. Overall, it's one of the more crazy documentaries I've ever seen. Just the idea behind it is crazy. The execution of it is crazy. But it's telling, though, like, if you walk up to somebody and present them with an idea of, like, hey, we want you to kind of tell your side of the story, and you'll have this platform to do it in this movie. And, like, no matter what the subject is, people are like, yeah, that's fucking, let's do it. That's a great idea.
Right.
Something to be said about that, too. Fame or whatever that you want to call that, the need for that.
So, I guess that is it for the review, though. I mean, it's another one from Dumal. It's another request from him. So I don't know where he finds these movies and everything, but I don't
either.
This is not a lighthearted film by any means.
Yeah.
There's some really disturbing shit in this. There's some really, real life monsters in this, crazy shit. But it is, like I said, it is fascinating, and yeah, it definitely deserved to at least be nominated for documentary of the year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because the guys in it are not like Hannibal Lecter looking dudes. They're just regular like dudes. I mean, they act pretty normal, and they act, they're joking around and cutting up, and they got people around talking to them and stuff. But then you realize like they murdered hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, and that's the people that do that shit, man. You never like know. They don't appear like all in these movies.
No.
They're just regular fucking dudes.
No. But yeah, that one is on YouTube as well. If you want to check it out, go over and check it out. Be sure to check us out. We're over at DEADPIT.com. Give us a thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck.
I want you to. I don't care. Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.